What's up, guys? Zaid here, and today I've got an updated Prank Kids deck list for you for the October 2021 format. The only big hit that they got, the only hit at all actually that they got, was Prank Kids Meow Meow Moo went down from 3 to 1, and that seemingly doesn't inherently change the consistency of the deck, at least for its turn 0 play, because everything still works as normal, but it creates like a weird line where if you want to have access to Meow Meow again throughout the duel, you're gonna have to put it back with Prank Kids Prank. And if you do that, you have one less interruption with the Battle Butler. And so what this to me means is that one, we might have to be more conservative with our Butler, and two, that we lose a lot harder to the Ash Blossom going first. Because like it's if you get Ash on your normal summon going into Meow Meow, then it's going to leave you in a spot where next turn you're required to have an additional extender on top of the Prank Kids. And so my list is kind of geared towards now either having that additional extender or having ways to play around the fact that you got ashed. And so I'm going to just get right into it. We're playing 3 of every name and 3 field spell. No need to explain what these cards do. They all tutor each other and have another effect. But the reason I'm playing all 15 is because, like I said, at this point now, you kind of need the additional extender because the deck before, since every card is a 1-card combo at any point in the game, you could play a little less, and then you could play a lot of hand traps and like just interruptions that if you draw 2 to 3 of are enough to stop your opponent. But now it's not as doable because, like I said, if the normal summon gets ashed, next turn you need to have 2 to 3 cards in order to follow up with. You can't just do it off one. And so now a lot more of your cards are going to have to like help you commit to the board. And so we're playing all the names, and then we're also playing triple Pandemonium, double Pranks, and 3 Poly, so that we can oftentimes, instead of having to start with the normal summon play, we can start with the 2 Pranks and a Poly play, which can also get us to Toad, which helps play around Nibiru. It plays around the Ash. It's going to let a lot more plays resolve, and I really like that. And in that same regard, we've got triple Parallel Exceed, so if you open 1 Prank in this, you're still in a good spot. And then, what's it called? 1 Instant Fusion. Although, I'm actually looking at it now, I didn't tailor the extra deck too much to play something for Parallel Exceed. You guys get to see a live freaking editing of my deck. I was initially playing this Millenniumizer Strict because I feel like with the Instant Fusion, it would help you play around with the Ash more. But like at the end of the day, it's an extender for Rocket Ride, which is really powerful, and I feel like having the Dweller is actually just a lot more powerful here. I like almost completely forgot about this card. But yeah, so Parallel Exceed, now that I changed my deck a little bit, puts up an additional interruption, and it also lets you play through that Ash. And that is, like I said, it's going to be very integral to get that Butler to stick and be able to then get the effect when you fusion on your opponent's turn to float into 3 guys. That way you're not stuck just committing to 1 summon. Edit this out, Zaid. I'm going to probably burp. Ugh. Next we got the Instant Fusion, and it's probably correct not to play Millenniumize. I was thinking that would help you play specifically through Ash better, but it also just sits dead on the board after that. Whereas your Rocket Ride can just allow you to extend in different ways going into the into the doodle, and it doesn't make you like have to play any additional cards. Next we have 3 Desires, which are staying in the main because they didn't remove any main deck cards. Like there was a case that people had argued where they could put Pandemonium to 1. And if that were the case, then we'd have to move off of Desires and play something else. But since it's still around, and a lot of this card, or this deck, like you play 6 Poly, you play 15 normal summons. Like they're all basically the same card. And so you're more so getting 2 cards versus like a Prosperity picking 1, but getting rid of your extra deck. Your main deck's a lot less valuable in this type of deck. And then next, to play around these hand traps even harder and to draw into the extenders that we need, we have the triple Tactics talents and the Called By. Tactics is honestly a little cooler than Called By to me because in a lot of matchups it helps you play going second through their board. And that's going to be a little more difficult now because say you are able to play through their board, but then they're able to play through what you establish. Like if you have a back and forth, a card like this is going to be a much higher impact now that on that following turn you don't have the Meow to use. And then the Call By is just going to like try to get your plays to resolve turn 0 so that you don't even get to that scenario where you're missing the Meow. And then since I had to play a lot more combo pieces, I wanted my going second interruptions like talents to be a lot more powerful going second. And so we opted for triple droplets, triple imperm. Imperm against the Tri Brigade matchup. I honestly feel like now you might not hit the normal summon unless you really think that they're just like bricked if you do. But you may just hit the Appaloosa on your standby phase so that your monster effects can still go through. Especially if you have an extender. That way, say you open like the poly play with 2 pranks, you're not really that pressed if Omen comes out. I can't really think of a specific choke point where your monster getting banished is going to ruin your day. And so these cards are going to be able to just break whatever board was established, or at least negate the board that's established, and then Butler will be able to finish the job. The side deck is not too important because this will probably change as the format develops. But along the same lines of these, where I just want high impact cards that out the board, we have high impact hand traps for each respective matchup, being Lancia, Droll, and Nibiru. Just any matchup that these blow out, you side them in place of one of these that it feels less powerful. Like if you're playing against what's it called, Tri Brigade, you would much rather have the Lancia than a triple tactic. So you're gonna put the Lancia in there and then still be able to stunt their plays and have all these extenders to play through it. An Ash isn't going to cut it anymore. We want one hand trap, like also Droll and Nibiru, that are going to stop them from playing so that on our turn we can do our combo, follow up with a Butler, and take the game from there. And then I used to play triple Cosmic, triple Twin, but in the same regard against back row decks, I want the Cosmics for the mirror match, but I want Duster and double Lightning Storm for those big back row decks, so that this is just like another 1-card blowout, and that it's going to let me to then play my combo, have more combo pieces in my deck, and it not really hinder me as much because my interruptions are just more impactful. And then in the extra deck, not much changed but the 2 cards. We got a double Battle Butler, double Rocket Ride, 1 Weather Washer, and then the one totally awesome, the Dweller over here with XYZs too for the Parallel Exceed. Then access code Unicorn for game. I played 2 Bow Wow now instead of 1. Mainly because I think there's going to be lines where you want to put the Meow Meow back depending on your hand, so that if you don't have the Poly or the Pandemonium to extend with on the following turn, or you don't have the double name, that you'll still have access to a play, which is going to make your board weaker because you only have 1 pop instead of 2. But you're going to be able to put less back, and I don't want to like cut myself off of Bow Wow access. And the extra deck's not that tight now. Like, the extra deck already wasn't that tight, if you ask me. There's not many cards this deck can really optimally play. And then we played 2 Doodle, the 1 Meow Meow, Rest in Peace, and then 1 Rip Roaring Roaster for those back row matchups. If you guys have any suggestions on how you think this deck should be played after the ban list, let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching.